Hello everyone and welcome back to Tanya Files. Okay, so if you don't follow my other YouTube channel, I am also known as Moonwalker Tanya from the MJ Innocent podcast. And on my other channel, I mentioned that I was going to debunk the death hoax and also discuss who I personally think might be involved in Michael's murder, because I do not believe Conrad Murray was the only person involved. And the reason why I'm going to do it on this channel is because, well, I don't like to talk about the death hoax community on my other channel. And also, the reason why I don't want to talk about who else could possibly be involved in Michael's murder is because, well, maybe I'm a little paranoid about this reason, but I don't want to put my MJ channel, like, in jeopardy, basically. So, if I lose Tanya Files, no big deal. I could just redo it. It's really not a big deal. So, okay, so in this episode, I'm going to talk a little bit of who I think could be involved. So, I'm still researching this. You know, Michael had a lot of enemies. So, do I think that all of his enemies were involved? No. But I think there were a few specifically. So, yeah. We'll do several videos about this. So, let's go ahead and get started on who I think is possibly the most involved. And like I said, this is just a theory, but I think it's a pretty good guess.
Sony.
Ooh.
Sony, being the artist that I am at Sony, I've generated several $1 billion for Sony, several billion.
Exactly.
They really thought that my mind is always on music and dancing, and it usually is, but they never thought that this performer, myself, would outthink them.
Yeah, baby! Woohoo! Yes, baby! You tell him, Michael. Yeah! Yeah, so for those of you who may not know, especially if you're not in the MJ community, there was a time when Michael Jackson owned half of Sony. Yeah, and even back when he owned it, I didn't know that. Because back then, like, I didn't pay attention to the media. I didn't really pay attention to the negative stuff. I mean, I knew Michael was, like, falsely accused of things and all this other stuff. And I know that there was drama in his life, you know, with plastic surgery. But back then, I just focused on the music, obviously. But yes, I do believe that there are people from Sony who might be involved, because when Michael left Sony, they lost a lot of money and they were furious with him. And Michael was not afraid to call Sony out. And he even said that their the owner of Sony, Tommy Mottola, is a racist and a devil. And if you think about it, recently Sony purchased half of Michael's music catalog. I do not believe that's a coincidence. I mean, Sony basically looked at Michael like an ATM, and then he leaves Sony. They don't make a lot of money. They're furious with him. They tried to destroy him. They even tried to ruin his Invincible album, you know, because they didn't promote it in the US back then. And so, like I said, it's just a theory right now, and I'm going to look into it a little bit more so I can go into more details. But yes, I do believe that someone, I don't know if it's Tommy Mottola specifically or other acquaintances that he might have known, but I do believe that there are at least maybe one or a few people from Sony who are also involved, and I think it needs to be investigated again. All right. So, stay tuned for more information, and yeah, I love you guys. And if you watch my other channel, the MJ Innocent podcast, to my viewers, I love you, and I will see you soon. All right, let's have a great conversation in the comments.